Welcome to another Talking Points webisode. I'm Moriah Humiston. The Senate confirmed new Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court on Monday, just days before Election Day. Here to explain the new justice are analysts Olivia Maniscalco, Adrianna Rozas, and Jesse Cook. Olivia, let's start with you first. Who is Amy Coney Barrett and what is her background?
Well, Amy Coney Barrett has been confirmed as a conservative justice, which means that there's now a 6-3 conservative majority in the court. In terms of her background, she went to Notre Dame Law School. After that, she had 2 high-profile clerkships, one being for the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, and then she worked in private practice and was a law professor at Notre Dame. Something notable is that she's a member of a tightly knit Christian group called People of Praise. In that group, they believe that husbands are the heads of their wives and should take authority over the family. They also reject openly gay men and women. But despite this, she was nominated by Trump in 2017 to be in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit, which covers Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin. And she was confirmed by a 55-43 vote. This being said, that does mean she does only have 3 years of judge experience.
And Olivia, what are some of Amy Coney Barrett's beliefs?
She definitely believes very heavily in the Second Amendment on gun rights. In 2019, Cantor versus Barr, she was the only one who opposed prohibiting a man convicted of a white-collar crime from operating a firearm, stating that the founding fathers would not have stripped felons of the right to bear arms. In terms of immigration, she also is very tough on that. She dissented Congress's ruling in Cook County versus Wolf, which blocked Trump's public charge rule that made it difficult for immigrants relying on public assistance to earn green cards. Also in Yafai versus Pompeo, she agreed that the wife of a U.S. citizen could not challenge the denial of her visa application. In terms of abortion, she was a member of the pro-life faculty club at Notre Dame and was also a part of a Right to Life organization in South Bend, Indiana. And talking about abortion, she has stated that she is not beholden to the doctrine of stare decisis, which asks a court to follow the precedents set in similar cases, which means that if she does rule on an abortion case, it is not clear whether or not she will uphold Roe versus Wade. In terms of healthcare, in 2017, she criticized Chief Justice John Roberts' upholding of Obamacare, which is also known as the Affordable Care Act. And in terms of climate change, she calls it politically controversial, and she does not know if she understands it fully, which is definitely alarming to climate change advocates. But she has insisted that she will not rule based on her personal beliefs, but on the strict Constitution.
Thanks, Olivia. And some of these beliefs came up during her confirmation hearings. Adrianna, what happened during her confirmation, and how did the vote in the Senate go?
So the vote in the Senate to confirm her was pretty much split down party lines. The only senator of the GOP who decided to vote against Amy Coney Barrett was Susan Collins of Maine, who's currently locked in a tight race against Maine State House Speaker Sarah Gideon. So some are saying this might have been a political calculation. She did receive a lot of backlash from Democrats when she voted to confirm Brett Kavanaugh in 2018. So she did end up voting against Amy Coney Barrett, and she did say it was because of the standard that Republicans had set in 2016 when they refused to confirm Merrick Garland, not because she believed that Amy Coney Barrett wasn't qualified for the position.
And what are the polls showing for her support?
So the polls are showing that there really wasn't insurmountable opposition to her confirmation. Voters are pretty much split on whether they support her, but there also is a slight majority of voters who did think that she should be confirmed. So depending on the poll question, it does change a little bit, but 51% of voters did say that they believe that she should be confirmed, and the margin was a little bit closer in terms of whether they support her or not.
Thanks, Adrianna. And Jesse, what does her confirmation mean?
In terms of this upcoming election, her confirmation, though it might sound peculiar, does not mean a whole lot. Generally, voters have been decided for a long time. Many have already voted on whether or not they want Donald Trump to remain president or if they want Joe Biden to become president. What this might indicate, though, for the upcoming election is two fears that President Trump might have. One being that he fears he's going to lose, and electing a conservative woman to the Supreme Court might change the minds of some centrist voters who were perhaps undecided, or it might energize people in his base who were eligible to vote, but who may not have exercised their right in 2016. The second fear that it might indicate for him is that he'll win the election, but he will lose Congress. Democrats will take control, and he won't be able to nominate or successfully nominate a judge in the next 4 years.
And Jesse, what are the upcoming court cases that her appointment will affect?
Well, there are going to be cases that involve aspects of Roe v. Wade, aspects of LGBTQ rights, and Obamacare. They might even vote to revisit or reopen cases like Roe v. Wade or Obergefell. But Amy Coney Barrett being on the Supreme Court might not have a huge impact. Sure, there are the 3 hardcore liberal justices, Alito, Kagan, Sotomayor, and the now 4 really hardcore conservative justices and Kavanaugh, Thomas, Alito, sorry, I should have said Breyer for liberals, but Alito, and and now Amy Coney Barrett. But Neil Gorsuch and John Roberts, the Chief Justice, while they are conservative, they were elected by conservative votes. They tend to be centrist. John Roberts has been leaning more towards central, more towards the left throughout his tenure on the docket. And Neil Gorsuch, though he was nominated by Donald Trump, he has actually voted liberal on some cases. In fact, he was one of the few conservative justices on the Supreme Court to vote that discrimination against members of the LGBTQ community in the workplace or in the hiring process, he ruled that would be unconstitutional. So on Roe v. Wade and LGBTQ rights, Amy Coney Barrett may not make a huge difference. What she will almost assuredly change, though, is Obamacare. That will probably go. As Neil Gorsuch, while he voted liberal on social issues, Medicare probably won't be that much of a static concept in his mind. Roberts might vote liberal, but it's going to be a 5-4 majority for the conservatives that would send Obamacare protections from a national level to the state level. So that is one thing that might change as a result of Amy Coney Barrett being confirmed.
Thank you, Jesse. And that concludes our Talking Points webisode for this week. For more webisodes and talking points, visit CitrusTV.com. Have a great night.